All right, so for today's video, we're gonna break down a training evolution that we did here at my unit, where we set up a entry control point for various vehicles. We had manufactured intels, obviously just a fake scenario, of certain type of vehicle that we were on the lookout for. And once that vehicle made its way to our entry control point, we were then gonna pull it to the side, conduct the vehicle inspection, and then if nothing was out of the ordinary, it would proceed on, and then we would stop the next vehicle matching that description. So this video will show the vehicle that matched that description that we pulled over, and the vehicle was then inspected after the driver was interrogated, and you'll see many things that are wrong in this video. So just be mindful that this training involved Marines who are not military law enforcement, not infantry. They're all support MOS backgrounds. So they could be mechanics, armorers, supply people, communications, whatever. So you'll see a lot of things wrong here, and there's a lot to break down. But I'm gonna play about 2 minutes of the clip. I think the whole video was like 7 minutes long. Very painful to watch. So I'll let it play out, and then we'll kind of come back and talk about it a little bit. One quick disclaimer before the video starts is that on a military base, you do not have the same rights that you have out in town. You're absolutely subject to search, seizure, all that stuff. All the stuff out in town does not really apply here. Yourself, your vehicle, everything is up for grabs the minute you go through that gate. So just be mindful that for you internet lawyers, that a lot of that stuff does not apply to military bases. So we can kind of do a lot of things that civilian police cannot do as far as searching, seizures, gathering evidence, all that kind of stuff. So just be mindful of that. Go on that side and fucking help him. Go grab his fucking legs and yank his ass out. Grab his fucking legs. Yank him out. Get him out. You seen those police brutality videos? Fucking do it.
On your stomach. On your stomach.
If he's not getting on his stomach, get him on his fucking stomach.
I'm scared. On your stomach. I'm scared. On your stomach.
Leave me alone.
On your stomach.
I'm scared.
On your stomach now. I'll be out here. On your stomach.
Get him down. Get him down.
On the ground.
There's two of you, one of him. Control the situation.
On the ground.
Don't give up. There you go. There you go. Orozco. Just gonna watch him. Do something. Do something.
This is an actual possible threat of someone that we don't know who's armed or not. I'd have dumped it like this.
Yeah.
By now.
Yep.
The second you fucking grabbed onto somebody and almost got a weapon.
I need some fucking flexi cuffs.
You wouldn't be able to put them in them.
Also, here's another reason why this should be oversaturated. She's in no position to hold that. Oh, just she's like,
So there was a lot to break down there, and it was not pretty. So first and foremost, that primary guy that was initially interacting with the driver's acting sketchy, doing a bunch of stuff. So all right, makes the decision, it's time to get this guy out of the vehicle because we don't know what's going on with him. So tries to get him out of the vehicle, refuses, and then he's having a hard time pulling him out because if you've ever tried to pull somebody out of a driver's seat, they got a lot of leverage there. So I go to the passenger side and I tell his buddy who's just standing on the passenger side, get out. Like, go over there and help him get him out. Grab his fucking legs, pull him out of the vehicle. Again, we don't have to be as precautious as they do out in the real world. On base, this dude's already presented himself as a shady individual, not complying, not keeping his hands where he's supposed to have them, just acting really nervous. Get out of the vehicle. So get him out by any means necessary. So Now, to preface this a little bit, these kids with this scenario, it's hard to understand what's in play and what's not in play. Can I actually hit this dude? I don't have any pepper spray or, you know, non-lethal means of dealing with this person. I have a rifle, I have rounds, and, you know, I got my buddy. So anyway, he goes to the passenger side, grabs legs. They're still like pussyfooting around a little bit. I'm like, yank him out of the car. Like, do it. You've seen those police brutality videos. We don't have to worry about that here. Yank his ass out of the car. So they finally get him out, and then they immediately just seize control of him. They drop him on the deck and then just let him sit there. Nobody like got down with him to maintain positive control of that dude's body. So he's able to just kind of do whatever he wants, ends up getting on his knees to a more advantageous position for himself to then be able to thrust and, you know, go after those guys, which he eventually does. The primary guy, before all that happens, decides to put his weapon down, take it off of his body, and put it against the tire of the vehicle, completely leaving it exposed to that guy who's now on his knees. Instead of lunging forward and taking that guy down, all he had to have done was lunge forward and grab that rifle. And I feel like the other guy would have been too scared to actually take a shot and do anything. So both of them struggle, get their asses kicked. Now that role player is another Marine, so, you know, it is what it is. But they had zero situational awareness, zero control, just a whole shit sandwich going on there. They did have another Overwatch person in the rear of the vehicle, so you'll see that that female towards the middle of the video there, where she just kind of comes into frame, and she's just standing there watching them like, dang, that sucks. And she's just standing there providing zero assistance. So a lot to unpack. These guys don't do this stuff every day, but it was very hard to watch and not like interject myself, because you have to let them fail and then do the debrief later, like, hey, here's what you should have done, here's what you could have done better. But it just goes to show you that everybody thinks that they would be so inclined to do this or that and quarterback it after the fact, but when you get thrown into a situation where you're not really that comfortable doing it, everything kind of falls apart very quickly. So it kind of goes into just all the training that you do in your life in general. Like, you could say, oh, I know I could hike with my gear 4 or 5 miles and do all this stuff, until you actually do it and you're just out of breath and completely fucking useless. You could say, oh, I could be accurate and run around and, you know, get cover and lay down suppressive fire and do all this stuff, and then you hit the range and you're actually moving around instead of a static range. You actually move and you're doing stuff and you're wearing gear and you're fucking putting down suppressive fire, and it's like 80, 90 degrees plus 100% humidity, and you're just absolutely a fucking liability out there. It's just things you need to consider. And if you don't get out and do it and make yourself uncomfortable, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna look like these guys just looked, trying to do something that they aren't really too comfortable with and aren't familiar with. So don't take training lightly. If you think you're gonna be exposed to it at some point, train for it. That way it becomes muscle memory. You actually know what to do. You're aware of what could go wrong and how to overcome it. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day.